What if I told you you could do everything right and still lose everything? Not because God is angry, not because you failed, but because your story is bigger than what you can see right now. If you've ever whispered, "God, what?" This story is for you. Before we continue, if these Bible stories help you breathe again, go ahead and subscribe. Now, let me tell you about Job. Job lived in a quiet land called Uz. And by every measure that mattered, his life was good. He was honest, kind, faithful, not perfect, but sincere. The Bible says Job feared God and stayed away from evil. He was respected by his community.
My people, the time has come for us to depart. The journey will be long, but stay united.
Loved by his family, blessed in his work.
A simple meal, but shared with love.
The bread is still warm, and the fruit looks so sweet.
A blessing indeed.
Every morning, Job prayed for his children, not because they were bad, but because he cared. He didn't just believe in God, he walked with him. And that's important to remember, because what happened next wasn't punishment. Job had land, livestock, servants. His home was full of laughter, meals, celebrations. There was peace in his days, and gratitude in his heart. From the outside, his life looked complete. And then, everything changed. One day, without warning, a messenger came running. "Job, your oxen are gone. Your servants were killed." Before Job could speak, another arrived. Fire fell from the sky. "The sheep are gone." Then another. "Your camels were stolen." Job hadn't even caught his breath. And then came the final messenger. "Your children, they were together." And the house collapsed. Silence. In a single day, Job lost his wealth, his livelihood, and his children. No explanation. No time to prepare. Just loss. Job fell to the ground. Not because he was weak, but because the weight was too heavy. He tore his robe, and he wept. Then, with a broken voice, he said, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." That wasn't denial. That was surrender. As if grief wasn't enough, Job's body failed him too. Painful sores covered him. From head to toe, he couldn't rest, couldn't sleep. He sat in ashes, scraping his skin, just trying to survive another moment. His strength faded. His silence grew heavier. His wife stood beside him, heartbroken too. She said, "Why don't you curse God and die?" Not hatred, despair. Job looked at her gently and said, "Should we accept good from God and not trouble?" Still, his heart was breaking. Job began to speak. Not polished prayers, not perfect words, honest ones. "Why was I born? Why am I still alive? Why is God silent?" And here's something you need to hear. God didn't strike him for asking. God didn't leave him for questioning. Faith doesn't mean silence. It means bringing your pain to God instead of walking. Job's friends came. At first, they did the right thing. They sat with him in silence. But eventually, they spoke. "You must have sinned. This is punishment. God doesn't do this for no reason." They were wrong. Not because they didn't believe in God, but because they believed suffering always has a simple explanation. Sometimes it doesn't. After a long silence, God answered, but not with reasons. Instead, God asked questions. "Where were you when I formed the earth? Can you command the stars? Can you control the oceans?" Not to shame Job, but to remind him, you don't see everything, but I do. God wasn't angry. He was present. Job fell silent, not because he lost faith, but because he saw God more clearly. He said, "I spoke of things I did not understand." That moment changed everything. In time, God restored Job more than he had before. New blessings, new joy, new life. But the greatest gift wasn't the restoration. It was the relationship. Job said, "I had heard of you before, but now I truly know you." If you're hurting right now, if you're faithful and still confused, let Job remind you, your pain is not proof that God left. Your questions don't disqualify you, and your story is not finished. Stay, trust, and don't give up. Because God is still writing. Subscribe to my channel.